life is an arcade. I wanna play every single game. These bright lights are making my heart race.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Authentic Vibes Only podcast. It's been a while. I've been on some trips, had a pop-up, life stuff for the brand. I apologize, but I got to hold myself more accountable for this. It's my fault. So, there's no excuses. But I appreciate you guys for all the support I've had so far. Last episode with Austin Hubbard went really well. Probably our best episode yet. So that was fucking awesome. Yeah, and I should have had some episodes pre-recorded, so I had something to post when I was on vacation and when I was at the pop-up this weekend, but that's some things that I need to manage better. But now we're back, and I'm doing another solo episode today. Excuse me. And, we're going to talk about creativity, what my creative process is like, how I've been struggling creatively, and ways to, get out of a creative funk when you are creative, because, those things are really hard to come by when you're in the creative space, because you can't just make it happen. I feel like it comes to you. And I got my hookah today. First time I have it on the podcast. Sorry if I'm trying not to be distracting, but I'm just having fun, being my authentic self. That's what we do, Shout out to my sponsors real quick. JW's Third Base in Rock Falls. If you're ever hungry, you need some food, get a hold of them. Same thing. Candlelight Inn, Rock Falls, Sterling, Clinton. If you're hungry, they're known for their Chicken George. Go see them. One Take Photography. My boy Rashawn, if you need any videography, photography, go to him. And also Juicy Visuals, who did my intro. He's also a videographer and photographer, so check both of those guys out if you guys ever need any photo or video. And then, as always, Authentic Vibes Only brand, the clothing brand, and that's who the podcast is brought to you by. So let's get right into it. Sorry, I kind of got to keep this rolling, so... I don't want to be a distraction, but I'm going to do it anyways because I'm having fun. But let's get right into it. So recently, I went on vacation to Salem. Before that and before the pop-up this weekend, we had our most recent clothing drop, and basically when I do drops, I don't really create. Once that's done, I don't create for I have some stuff in a vault, probably 50, 60 ideas, at least that are kind of a base start. Right. And, they're just a starting point. Some of them are more finished than others. Some are pretty damn close to being done. But when I do drops, I don't create for, I feel 3 months at a time, however long it is when the drop's about to begin and go out till, I'm ready to start a new drop. And I have the vault for those reasons. For when I'm ready to start, I can take a look at those and start from something in there. The problem with me lately is and unfortunately I go into these more often than not, and it's really starting to piss me off is I hit these creative ruts, and it's no matter what I do in life, or with the brand or anything, I just have no creative energy, and I don't know where to start. And like I said, you can't force these things. I think that's the hardest part about being a creative. And for those of you that don't understand, I feel we'll still understand, because everyone can be creative. Everyone can have some sort of creative energy, and it's a thing you should do to release. You need to release that. But when it comes to being a creative, man, you can't force things. It's just you just can't force it. And I would say I'm gonna sit here today and tell you my creative process when it comes to when I'm about to create something. And then I'm going to tell you tips and tricks to kind of clear your mind and get that creative energy back. The problem is with me, I've been doing those things and something still just isn't, it's not coming back. It's not clicking. So, when it comes to creativity, my creative process usually is like, all right, I'll sit down, I'll put a time and a place, like a time frame in line for a schedule that I want to create, and this is the time I'm going to get work done, right? So then, like, leading up to that, I'll kind of prep, usually before that I get my tasks done for the day that I don't have to, that I need to get done, go to the gym. That's a good way to, get your body moving. That'll get some energy flowing. That'll help. So I usually go to the gym, usually drive around a little bit, get a little bit of food, maybe not. It just depends. Sometimes I'll get an energy drink of some sorts. It's not always good though. And then, lately I've been trying nicotine. I don't know a lot of the beneficiaries, like the benefits of nicotine yet, but I know there's a lot of backlash on it. I think it's more along the lines that nicotine is good for you, but not the ways we have it being processed to us. So like Zins and tobacco and smoking and even hookah, these things are not good for the body to intake in sort of ways, like all the way they're processed and just the smoke in general. That's not good for you. But there are very, I have read up, I don't know them exactly. I've only seen little bits of it, but there's a lot of good health benefits and like cognitive factors when it comes to nicotine and helping like with the brain function and stuff. So, but I'm not saying do it, but I've just been trying it out the last month or two, seeing where it can take me, but I don't know if exactly it's helping me. I feel like it helps me lock in, which is weird. I feel like once I start something, if I have like a Zen in or something, I'm like locked in. Like I actually put in a Zen when I'm at the gym and I'm like super locked in. I've been playing a lot more PlayStation lately and I've been locked in on that. I haven't played PlayStation for a while, but let's get into that. But more along my creative process, I'll do those kinds of things. And then I like to listen to music. But once again, that's also not always great. You can like, the silence and listening into your intuition can really bring things about, which is kind of weird because I feel like I don't listen to music to make me creative. I listen to music like for noise. It's not even like it's beneficial for me. I listen to it more of like it's a noise for me. But like a lot of times when I'm zoned in and I'm locked in, like I'll have my headphones on designing whatever, right? And the music's just there. I'm not really paying attention to it. I'm not really hearing it because I'm very present in what's on my screen and the things I'm working on. So it's kind of weird. I feel like I just use it kind of like as a white noise for me. It doesn't exactly help me or doesn't help me. I think it's just more of a mental thing where the noise is there. I like it. But that's part of my creative process. And then I'll throw on some headphones, listen to music. And then I usually lock in for about an hour. I try not to look at the clock when I'm designing or anything. Like if I get carried away in time, it doesn't matter to me. I don't pay attention to time. Time doesn't exist really to me when I'm doing that kind of stuff. Same with the podcast. We just go until we're full or when we need a break. My mind or body will tell me. I'll sit back. I always say I need fresh eyes is what I call it. So I'll take a break. I'll either get on my phone for a little bit, check up on messages, get a snack again if I'm hungry, whatever the case may be. Just get up, stop looking at the screen for about 30 minutes and come back and see where it takes me then. Yeah, and that's really just my creative process. There's not much to it, to be honest. It's really just getting into it, setting aside the time and day I want. Like setting along the time frame that I want for it. Coming in here, getting on my computer, opening all the files, throwing on my headphones, listening to music, having some water, having some sort of energy drink sometimes here and there. I'll have nicotine. I was smoking weed here and there. But I've really tried to take back the substances because it doesn't help with my anxiety and depression. It actually usually heightens it just depending on like what else is going on in life. I feel like when I'm less trying to control things and I'm more present and I'm being myself and being more free, the substances don't bother me, and I use them not to enhance what I'm doing or enhance me trying to have fun or escape something. I actually use them in the way, they're supposed to be used, I guess. I don't need them to live a better life or have more fun or any of those kind of things. And I feel like they cause me to have like panic attacks and stuff when I'm using them in the wrong sorts of ways. So then I had to backtrack and kind of see what I'm doing wrong in life and why I feel the way I feel and why I'm not being present enough and things like that before I can like use substances if I feel I want to use substances for fun, I guess once again, not for fun. I don't know, recreationally. I don't really know how to use that term. I don't really know how to say you should use substances because, like, I just said I don't think they should enhance fun or use them to have fun, but they definitely can. I don't know. Substances I'm on a weird feeling on. I don't really want to talk about that today, but let's get back to the creative aspect, and that's my creative process. Like I said, just kind of get prepped for it, set aside a time. We'll get in here and we'll just start going at it. Look at the screen and I usually, the problem is like when I try not to force that, when I set time aside, I have to like really prep myself up and like I'll go weeks, unfortunately, like I said, without doing things because I don't have that creative energy. And there's nothing that's sparking it. Because a lot of things when it comes to my designs, and especially with the clothing, there's like a saying, or I see something online, or some sort of saying online, or a saying just comes to me. And that's what I base my designs off of for the clothes. And especially like, not just like, it doesn't just always come to me, but sometimes it's like the way I'm feeling in life, how my life's going, how I'm feeling, situations that are surrounding me, that'll create a saying in my life. For whatever reason, it'll just pop into my head. I'll say that's like listening to my intuition, and it'll come into my head, and that's what we run with for that. And usually once that happens, once there's a saying or whatever, the creative energy is there. But for whatever reason, lately there's been nothing. It's like I can't silence my brain, but my brain is silent, if that makes sense to y'all. I feel like for creatives, that'll make sense. Or if you have like anxiety, that'll make sense to y'all. But yeah, it's like I cannot silence my brain, but there's nothing in it. It's a weird feeling, and it's a weird place to be, because I feel like I'm very present and I'm trying all these things to kind of bring that creative edge back, in which I'll speak on for you guys that normally help me. But none of it's working. So I had to kind of reanalyze, and there's something else I'm going to speak on here that, even though I said don't force it, I'll speak on here in a little bit, that I think I may need to be doing that I'm not doing. So also, this hookah's from Egypt, so I don't know. It's cool. But here's some things I feel like I do, and it's just like kind of suggested for you. Suggestions from like reading and listening to other videos and other creatives and people in the industry, stuff like that, on like their tips and tricks on how to kind of clear your mind and start creating back and get that creative energy back. And the thing is, when it comes to art, if you want to create great art, you need to consume great art. It's just like they say, you are who you surround yourself with, right? So you become who you surround yourself with when it comes to relationships and people. So if you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that are drinking all the time or smoking weed all the time or are very lazy, you're going to become that fifth person, fourth person. That's why people always say that you should not be the smartest person in the room or your group of friends you're in. It's better off that you are the dumbest person in the room. And that's not like a knock on you. It doesn't mean you're dumb or you don't have knowledge or any of those types of things. It's just that you're surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like. or you see something in them that you like, that you would want to strive for, and they have the knowledge that if you sit and listen, you can take that knowledge and help yourself. So it's the same thing with creating art and being creative, like looking up art and creative things and consuming those types of things are the types of things you want to be consuming if you want to create great art. And that could be part of my issues. I don't know if I'm consuming enough of things in the industry, clothing wise. Am I seeing enough? Am I doing enough? Am I looking at it enough to spark something in me? Am I consuming too much of the wrong things at this time? I think that can play a factor into why that's not there for me right now too. So that's a tip for y'all and for myself is we as creatives need to consume creative things. So whether that's TikToks in the clothing industry, TikToks in the painting industry, archive.com is a good thing. There's tons of sites you can go to, like Behance. A lot of people go to Pinterest for inspiration, things like that. Just consuming a lot more of those kinds of things. Excuse me. It's like the same thing when it comes to TikToks, right? If you want to be a great TikToker, then you need to consume more of the TikToks. Or if you want to you need to consume more of the TikToks / videos that you're trying to create. It doesn't always mean copying, right? Because here's the thing when it comes to art, TikToks, videos, whatever it comes to in the creative space, painting, designs, even like inventions, it's always said is that don't recreate the wheel, right? And by what that means is, by saying don't recreate the wheel, is you're not copying it, but by looking at these things, you're taking inspiration from these things, right? So there's literally just a quote in an art piece that someone said. I can talk about it. I saw it. I don't remember his name, but it's a clothing brand that I watch. And he was talking about basically this. And it was like the circle, the circle means something, right? The circle means like coming back to something at the beginning and meeting it at the end, right? Or something along those lines. And so he has like a pair of pants, and he has these circles on them, but they're made like in the shape of cotton. So they kind of look like clouds a little bit, but they're like cotton circles. So it's like a circle, and on the outer edge is like surrounded with cotton. It's not a real cotton, but it looks like cotton. It's like it's a print on these jeans. And he said, so my inspiration is the guy who created the circle and the meaning behind the circle, how that plays a factor in taking inspiration from the creation of the circle and what it means, taking inspiration from that and how that adds into his design is that he put his cotton in the shape of a circle to show where the United States started from and where we've come from. And that's like what the circle represents, and where the United States started, industrialization and not even just industrialization, but unfortunately with like slavery and stuff was like they began in clothing, especially clothing, began with Black people picking cotton, right? And this is a Black artist and a Black clothing brand owner who speaks on this. And he said, this is where it all started. So I wanted to pay homage to that. But I took inspiration from just the circle. And then, like I said, the meaning of the circle is where it started to where it ended and where it began. And he took that and turned his cotton into a circle and said, this is where clothing design started and America started, is we started picking cotton. Black people were picking cotton. I'm a Black clothing brand owner, and clothing started with cotton, and I'm using cotton in a circle to represent that. So I thought that was really cool. So it's not copying, right? It's just taking inspiration from these things. And that's not even really art, it's just a shape. But taking inspiration from things like these, I mean, like everything you see especially in the art world or invention wise, nobody's recreating the wheel. I can promise you that. They're consuming and seeing things that light a bulb in them. And basically, what this creativity or this creative energy in them is giving them from the inspiration is they're seeing something that inspires them, but they're twisting it in what their creative energy is giving them, such their creative mind or creative thinking is. So it's not copying, but they're making it their version of what they interpret this invention, this art piece, this anything to be. That's why art is so great, because like we said, it's I always get the saying mixed up. Subjective, not objective. So everyone views it differently. So the way they're interpreting it, they're turning it into the piece that they how they interpreted that. They're interpreting it and turning it into their version of that piece, or that their version of that clothing, or their version of that design. So yeah, so always consume great things if you want to create great things. But also, there's all that copywriting. So don't copy, don't take, and don't steal from these people. Don't steal from these other artists, but create something great based off the inspiration or a small piece, however you interpret it from that. The next thing is, when I say don't force creativity, you don't want to create from here. You want to create from here. So creating from here, I feel like, is what's forced. I mean, obviously, not exactly, because everything's in your mind, but if you're just forcing things because you're like, I need to do this, I need to do this, you want to create with an open heart and how it makes you feel, how it makes you see. So that's how you want to create. So you need to create with an open heart and let that creative energy flow to you, come to you, and release it. And next thing, a couple things that I feel like why I'm struggling, and these are tips too, is when it comes to creation, you have to clear your mind. And like I just said, don't create from here, create from here, but clearing your mind is going to clear up your heart. So you need to clear your mind and create a space for you to be able to listen to your intuition, and your intuition is all like gut, heart, feeling. It's all aligned. So when you create a space and you clear that up for yourself, it's going to be more clear, because you're going to be able to listen to yourself. You're going to be able to hear. You're going to be able to get that feeling, and it's going to come to you. And I think I've been struggling with that. I'm not, like I said, my mind is clear, but it's not like, I don't have a silent brain, but it's silent. It's empty. So it's very confusing to me. So that's where I hit these other tips. And I've been trying new things. Like I said, some of these other tips I have is to go outside, go in nature, take a walk, take a hike, go for a drive, be present, open your eyes, see what's out in the world, see what inspiration you can get, stay quiet, walk through, pay attention to your surroundings, what's around you, what noises are you hearing, what are you seeing, what are you feeling, and let the world, the universe speak to you when you're outside. Let nature speak to you, and see how that can help you when you're in a creative funk. I've tried it. It hasn't been working for me still, because that's one of the biggest things I do. But it hasn't worked for me, so I'm still trying to figure things out. Also, like I said, move your body. Get that energy pumping, flowing. Besides going for a walk, go to the gym. Go into the gym. Lift some weights. Move around. Do some yoga. Do some stretching. Anything. It doesn't even mean go to the gym. Stretch. Do some yoga. Do anything you can to get the energy in your body moving and flowing. So those are good things. And yeah, just also, like, write things down so you don't lose them, because that's what intuition is. It may come to you at the most random time, but make sure you put it in your notes, put it in your reminders, put it in something, put it in a journal, write it down so you don't forget, because it's going to go away. So put those down, jot those down somewhere so you can come back to it and re-spark that flame in your mind when at that moment it hit you. And also, when it comes to writing down, which I haven't been doing, I write all my ideas down, but I haven't been journaling. I don't journal that often. I've always spoke on the podcast that you guys should journal. I just personally never do, and that's one of my biggest issues. Because when I do, it seems to help me. But you want to write things down so you can free your brain of all the junk that's in there and clear it out for the good things that you want to have in your brain and in your mind. So jot things down, write, journal, clear everything out. If you're in a fight that day or you have a lot of anxiety, you're thinking about things, write them down so you can clear that out of your head. Get that out of the space, get that out of the mind. So it opens up more space for good ideas / energy / creativity. And something that I don't do, and this is what I'm going to change, where I'm going to talk about forced creations compared to just like letting creativity flow. Sometimes I think when you're in a rut like this and you've tried everything, you've done a lot of these tips that I'm giving you, there's more things you can do. These are just a couple basic tips you can do. But sometimes I feel like you just had to create. It comes like with writing down, right? Writing the stuff down, like I said, to clear out the bad, to open up space for the good. Forced creation is not good when you want something, right? Forced creation, I don't think you should like be forced creating. But forced creation and creating when you're in a rut and just doing it anyways, you're getting rid of the shitty things to get to the good things. And you know the craziest thing, and I've come to realize about creating when I do this, because I've done this before, but I haven't done it recently because it's just like I'm not creative at all. There's no creative energy. I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna do it. But if I do decide to do it, because I've done it before, like with school, whatever else the case may be, you may get something shitty out. You're getting all that the shitty ideas, the shitty creativity, all that stuff. You're getting it out of the way, but sometimes the best things come from those, right? The best things may come from that. And it may not be the piece in general, but by letting that out, something else from that piece you're working on may spark what you needed for the piece you wanted to be the finished piece. There may be one piece of the crappy design you just needed to create just so you could get something going, that you take that and you run with it, and it finally sparked by letting loose, and it sparked what you needed it to spark to create what you wanted, what needed to be created and what should have been created with that creative energy. Because by just creating sometimes, even though I'm saying don't force it, by forcing creation, which is wrong, but like I said, you may have to do it because you have to get shitty things out. By forcing creation, it may come back to be the thing you needed to create the spark of creation. Does that make sense? Sorry, that may have gone kind of weird. So, I feel like that's something I don't do enough, is because I know that you shouldn't force creativity as a creative. I know that. But by not doing that sometimes, I think that's holding me back because I'm not getting out the shitty things. And like I said, when I've gotten shitty things out before, just by starting something, it don't even matter if you're starting something that you wanted to start, just by trying to design or scribble something up or whatever the case may be, it'll spark that. And it's because like you are trying that creative, and I think finally the intuition is kicking in because you're trying to do what you want to do. There's something really cool too that I don't know if a lot of you know about. And it's called theta brainwaves. And theta brainwaves are what the imagination is, right? So those are the best brainwaves for creativity. That's where all the creativity and imagination is in your theta brainwaves. But the only way to reach these theta brainwaves, and the highest, actually, and we talk about meditation a lot, so I'll get into that a little bit because that's part of this. But the highest point, and when these theta brainwaves are the highest, is when you're at your most relaxed states. And the most relaxed states you're ever in is right at night before you're about to fall asleep, which is very unfortunate because a lot of the times that's how I am. It's like right before I'm about to fall asleep, something may spark, but then I fall asleep. So you may have to just keep a journal right next to your. The good thing is you shouldn't keep your phone, but like I have my phone there, so I'll put it in my notes real quick. But you should keep a journal next to you and just jot that idea down. Like I said, get it out, because the highest they are is right at night when you're about to fall asleep, and right in the morning, right when you wake up, because your brain's still in theta. And that's when all the imagination and creation is. That's what little kids are from like the age when they're born to like 7. They're always have like theta. And that's why they're always saying the craziest things and have the craziest imagination, because that's where theta, that's what kind of brain state they are in, and they are in that like constantly is theta, but we lose it. So you're in those states right before bed when you're very relaxed, about to fall asleep, and right when you wake up, because your brain's still in it until you start functioning. But another way to get into theta is by meditating. You have to be in a deep relaxation, and to be able to do that most of the time is meditating. You get a clear mind, listen to some sort of noise, or just deep breaths, breathing, breath work, and you can get into theta. And that's something I think possibly why I have been struggling a lot, is because like I haven't been getting into theta. And when I am, it's right before bed and right when I wake up, and I have other things I'm going to sleep, or I have other things I need to get up and do. So then I lose that thought if I didn't write it down, and then it doesn't come back. So I haven't been meditating like I used to either. When I was in just a crazy creative mindset for like a year straight, but I was meditating every day, and things were just coming to me a lot. And I haven't been doing it very much. So that's something I need to get back into. I think that's my last step here. I've been doing everything else. I've been going outside. I've been getting back into the gym pretty consistently. So I've been feeling good. Cutting out substances more often than not. Because I feel like drinking brings me down a lot. So I've been drinking very much. Not smoking weed. Another thing I could do is just maybe a better diet will help me, clear up all that fog inside my body and my system. But yeah, I need to get back into meditation, because that's how you can get into theta, and you can kick in those brainwaves for yourself to help you. But like I said too, with going out into nature, you should be like meditating when you're outside, or taking deep breaths. Not like be present when you're out there, but find a spot to sit, sit down and take some deep breaths and just relax. And I'm telling you, the things will come. Advice I got from a lady, can't remember her name. I think her name's Jude. She works with, so I had like this deal in place that I never spoke on, because it never fully took off. But there's this like company, a non-for-profit called Moi. And I think it's like Messages Which Are Happy or something like that. And I was like going to partner with them. And what they do is like they go to schools across the nation. And what happened was COVID like destroyed these guys, like, because they're not for profit. So like all their funds they had like got screwed when COVID came. So I met them kind of like right when I was starting the podcast, and they were kind of just restarting over for themselves because of COVID. So like they were trying to allocate funds, get funds, and get funded and get grants and whatnot. But I knew Mr. Brown, which we did a podcast with. He was like on the board with them. So after he did my podcast with me, he asked me to start coming to their meetings. So I was going to partner with these guys. And, the door's not closed, but I'm not really sure what's going on with them. We both said we would get back to each other when we felt it was necessary. And I have not heard from them. And I don't know what's going on with them. I feel like they might have fell through, because their main person, his name's Landon Ballard. He was like, so what they do too is when they go across the nation to schools, and they'd give like live performances of like music and stuff, about like just like life, like drugs and stuff like that. They do like, but instead of just giving like a presentation, they do like musical performances or dancing and stuff like that. So it's really cool. But then Landon was like their lead guy when they first opened back up after COVID, and he was in it before, but everyone kind of fell off from the other states. So they still have like boards in the other state, but they lost like all their performers. But Landon, I'm not sure if he's still working with them, but he's like their lead spokesperson and musician. He's a little bit younger than me. I think he's 24, so a year younger than me. And Landon kind of went out on his own too and started his own podcast. So I'm not really sure what's going on with them because I feel like he's kind of doing his own thing, and I don't know if he's working with them anymore. But anyways, I was going to partner with them and start doing podcasts or presentations at the school with them. And that still could be something that happens. I just got to reach out and see what's going on with them. Like I said, they were supposed to reach out to me when I could come and do my first one. I feel like they said it would happen this coming spring, I think. Because it was the end of their performances, like, because summer was coming up. They asked me to go to one in March, but I was gone for a business conference in Vegas for the Fashion Expo. So I wasn't able to come to that one. No, I was in Egypt actually in March, but there's one in February I was gone because of the business Fashion Expo in Vegas. And then in March I was in Egypt. So I wasn't able to go to the last two. They just wanted me to come and sit in. They said I could give a presentation, but I was not ready. So I said, I'll come in and sit in. And they said, yeah, I think it's a good idea. You could see and see how it goes. So I couldn't make those two. They said that summer is coming. Those are probably their last ones for the year. And they'd get a hold of me again when they started back up. So I haven't heard anything. So I need to reach out to them. But anyways, I don't know what's going on with them because Landon does his own podcast, and now he's on his own podcast. He's the host, and he's going to be a guest on mine at some point because we still have a connection. We haven't spoken, but we made a good relationship. So, but there's a lady that was on the board too named Jude, and she's really into like spirituality and like intuition and all that kind of things. And she says she sees visions all the time. Right. And I believe in all that kind of shit. So it's cool. Basically like she's kind of sidekick, stuff like that. And she asked me like, how do you come up with your podcast ideas or like things you want to speak on? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. They just kind of come to me. Or I was like, but most of the time I was like, I have a guest. Which was our first season at the time. So we had a guest like every episode. We always had a guest. So I was like, well, we always have like guests and stuff. So it makes it a lot easier because we just focus on like we just focus on. We just focus on what our guest is about. And she's like, well, if you're ever struggling, what you need to do, she said, quiet your mind. Just sit there. She said, just quiet your mind, sit there, and just listen. She said, you got to not think about anything. Just take some deep breaths, no noise, nothing. Just sit in your desk and listen. And what that is you're listening to your intuition. So it's getting into a meditative state where that's theta, like I said. So when you do that, it's your intuition talking to you. So that was really good advice I've received, and but personally I don't use it enough. And like I said, I've been struggling right now. So I think that is one thing that's my goal right now, is to get back into that more and listening to my intuition and getting into a state of mind where I can listen to my intuition and not fill myself up with so much bullshit all the time and relieve myself of those kinds of things because my creative edge is just not there. So even like with the podcast, like I said, it's been even hard recording because, I don't have ideas. And you can, there's always only so much you can talk about when it comes to being your authentic self, because we've talked about it already, right? So I don't want to bore you guys or come on here and say the same shit all the time. So that's what I need to do, is listen to my intuition more, get more into a meditative state, get this creative edge back, and we'll go from there. So those are some tips and tricks I want to give you guys. This is probably a short episode, but I've been gone. A little update for you guys to say where I've been. And like I said, I need to hold myself more accountable. And when I'm about to take trips or be on leave or whatever, I do need to schedule more guests or record myself the episodes for when I'm gone that I can still post, so you guys aren't like, damn, it's been 3 weeks, because I'm already posting every other week, so every 2 weeks technically. Be like, damn, it's been 3 weeks, this guy ain't post a podcast, stuff like that. So that's things I need to hold myself more accountable for. And with the creativity, I just need to listen to my intuition, get relaxed, clear my mind, write some things down, get rid of the junk, and also just create bad things. Everything you create isn't always going to be the best, but creation is creation, and you're still doing it. And like I said, that may spark the best thing that you have ever created, may spark from creating the worst thing you ever created. It's funny how those kinds of things work, but it's also really cool. So yeah, let's see. I might have a couple more notes, because I do feel like this was a little bit short. I don't exactly know, but there's been like notes I've been putting down, and let's see. Yeah, I have that on here. Finding creativity when you're not creative. Steve's told me I should talk about that, because that's just like the point of life I'm in, and that's what we like to talk about on here on the podcast is to make it relatable and everyday life. Let's see. Oh, I'll talk about this actually, because I think this kind of fits into it with the podcast. I think it's hard for me too, because like, I can the problem with me is I've always been, this is like how the podcast started. I've always been good at giving advice, right? But I can't always, for some reason, I can't seem to take my own fucking advice. Or when I need advice for myself, I don't have it. It's weird. Like, I can give advice anytime if someone asks me, but if I need advice for myself, I don't have the answers. And like, I've always been a healer / giver and helper, so it's easy for me to do that for others. But yeah, for whatever reason, when I need advice for myself, it's nowhere to be found. So I'm gonna ponder on that for a minute. So like, where could it be? Is that go along with like where I'm struggling creatively? Am I not, when I need advice, do I just need to listen to my intuition and I let other things fog that, and I'm listening to my self-doubt and I'm self-sabotaging? Because I think that's the answer. I'm just not getting quiet enough or clear, and I'm not listening to my intuition, and that's why the advice is not there. I'm just letting all these masks and everything going on in my life fog over that bullshit, and all the bullshit fog over my intuition, and I'm keeping my head too busy. I think that's part of the problem. So there's that. And yeah, sorry if this was like a impromptu episode for you guys. Like, it was set up. I'm trying to keep it more relaxed today because, like I said, I'm just trying to zen back into myself, I guess. Get back into a good routine, find that creativity again, and try out new things to see if it'll work and help me. And sometimes I think the problem with creativity for myself and just in life is like less is more. So I'm trying all these things, but am I still overstimulating myself? Because like I said, I feel like maybe if I just get back into, moving my body, like working out consistently, eating a little bit better, and going back into like at least a minimum of 10 minutes of meditation a day, I think I'll see results that I need to see. And I think that I'm trying to overcomplicate this situation and this funk I'm in, and it's not that complicated. And that's a lot of things in life, less is more, bro. So start looking at things like that. I'm going to take my own advice here. Like I said, I come on the podcast and give advice for everybody, but it's like the new Russ song that came out as well. When I talk about that is like Fraud by Russ. He says in it, like, wrote a self-help book for blah, blah, blah until I realized I was the one that needed it the most. And for me, that hit really hard because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I told y'all this is like a therapy session to me a lot of the time. And I think that I know I say I'm a helper, I'm a giver, and I'm a healer, I'm an empath and all that shit. But I think deep down to Russ saying that, and I think I created the podcast because I'm the one that needed it the most. I'm the one that needs to listen to myself the most. I'm the one that's giving out all this advice all the time and not taking it myself. I mean, like the things I've talked on here, I've done. So that's why I give that advice out. But like I said, with journaling, that's one of the things I give advice on, but I don't do it enough. Like that whole year that I've talked about past where I had no anxiety, depression. I stopped drinking. I went celibate. I didn't beat off. Like I didn't masturbate. All that shit. And I cleared myself up and I went on a really good diet. I was doing all the things that I've given advice on. So like journaling, writing affirmations, working out, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, not beating off, not drinking, working out, all those things I did. But there's other things on here that I speak on that, like, hey, dumbass, not being rude to myself. You shouldn't self-talk yourself like that. But hey, dumbass, like, listen to yourself right now. Like, if you just listened to yourself, you'd have all the answers to your own problems because your intuition's speaking out loud to the people, but realistically, it's speaking out loud for yourself. You're the one that needs to listen to yourself and take your own advice. Don't just give out the best advice ever, but not always follow through with it for yourself. So like if you're having that problem and you're giving out advice, or maybe like it's like a subconscious thing where like I'm having an issue, but I don't think I have the advice. But then like I come on here and it's my intuition is telling me what to talk about for the week. And I'm talking about it because that's the answer to my own problem. So like I said, I think that quote from Russ's song, those lyrics hit me really hard. I think that's why it turned into my favorite song from that album. And I was listening to it a lot because like I felt like a fraud all the time and like could you ever be perfect? Like, what was I always trying to please other people? And people would ask me for advice. This was like pre-podcast. I'd tell them stuff, and I never took my own advice about like being yourself and all that stuff. And then the podcast started, and I went through that journey, and I took my own advice finally and started listening to my intuition and stuff. But then still, like, I come on here, and like I've said before, maybe I'm the one that needed it the most still, because I come on here and there's a lot of things I talk about, and there's a lot of things that I'm going through in life, or give advice on that, like, I'm going through at the time. And by needing it the most, I may not need to listen to my own advice the most either, but I may just need to talk about it. I may just need to get it off my chest, because like I said, for me, I know you guys are listening, but it feels a lot like a therapy session to me a lot of the times while I'm on here, which I'm not trying to use y'all, and I've used therapy, I've done therapy, I've gone to it, but I don't know. There's just something about this place in this podcast that feels like a safe place to me. So sorry to get off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I think it adds into this episode. So let's talk a little bit to the pop-up. Went really well. It went really good. Very happy with how it went. Let's talk about the next drop. I am planning to drop hopefully around Christmas, maybe a little earlier. So everyone looking for Christmas presents for their significant other or themselves or family or whatever, I should be dropping. I will be dropping an unreleased shirt that I already had made. So I'll have some extras, because I sold them at the pop-up, and I got a whole, I got a stocking of it, probably like, I think it's 50 shirts. And I kind of was just giving them away to friends and family. I should have put them up because I've gotten really good feedback on them. It's actually like a lot of people's favorite shirt. So I'm actually going to drop them this time. Different colorways. I'll have some extra, the ones I have, but the logo is just a tad different. Not much. The outer stroke on it, it's just got like extra outer stroke. It gives it a little bit more life. Makes it look a little bit more like a clock. I posted it before as the Growth Comes with Time clock image that I posted on Instagram. I don't know if it's up anymore though. I might have archived it. So I plan on dropping those shirts, and I plan on dropping, I believe, 3 different style hoodies. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. The way drops are going, obviously I'm still growing, but these, especially hoodies, because they're going to be more expensive, stock's going to be very limited. So I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time, like, if you want a hoodie, you don't want to miss out, because they won't come back, this one I got to order less of. They're just more expensive. So, I got to be able to afford it. The pop-up's going to help me be able to like afford to pay for this drop. But before the pop-up, I hadn't sold too much of my last drop. Unfortunately, it didn't go that well. And I'm going to be transparent with y'all, I'm not going to lie. I thought it would go way better. I've learned things from this drop, and things I've learned from the drops in past. I think that I did my best marketing, my best designs, my best clothing, by far have came out in this last drop. And I think mistakes I made in the past kind of kept people from buying. But now I just want to say, like, I promise y'all, like, we've really learned and we're making a difference. So everyone that continues to give me chances, I appreciate y'all. But people who give me chances in the past are scared to buy or something. I promise mistakes were made, but mistakes were fixed. The quality of the product I have right now is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's insane. It's amazing. And if you miss out on it, I'm sorry that you do, but I sold a lot at the pop-up. I did well. I didn't I'm not mad about this, but I didn't hit my goal of what I hit. But for my very first pop up, the amount of sales I made was impressive. I think you always reach high. So I had a very high goal of what I wanted to sell, but not hitting it didn't bring me down. I was very, very, very happy with how it turned out. And I got my name out there. I was in Quad Cities, it's still about an hour away, but I was able to get new eyes on it and new people. So that was a plus. People that didn't buy followed the Instagram, and took the website, even if they didn't buy, and people that did buy also took the website and Instagram. So that was a plus. But yeah, I'll be dropping hoodies. I haven't decided. I have 5 designs right now, I think. One of them could possibly be the clocks. Kobe, my friend Kobe, y'all know Kobe. Well, some of y'all. My friend Kobe is pushing for me to drop clocks on the hoodies. But because I'm dropping the clock shirts, I don't know if I will. I do have designs with it. They do look good, but it just kind of depends, I don't know. One of the other hoodies will obviously just be a basic hoodie with the spiral in the middle, kind of like the t-shirt drop from this last drop. It'll have like a 4x4. I think it's 3x3 actually. Spiral right in the middle on the chest. I don't know if I'm going to add anything else to that. If anything, that one might say like authentic vibes only down the sleeve. And then I have one with like the spiral logo with like a saying intertwined into the spiral, so it's cool. It's got like the spirals, like the normal spiral, but like turn into the spiral is like 3 sayings. So I don't know if I'm gonna drop that one yet with this or not, because I'm already dropping the basic spiral hoodie, so that one might be saved. I haven't decided. And then I have one, so maybe I only have 4. That's 3 of them. I have one more I think you guys will like, and they're all pretty basic, but they're all have like their own little uniqueness to them, so they're cool. The other one I have says authentic, kind of like I think it's the same font. No, it's a different font. Like my very first t-shirt drop said authentic in lowercase. This one says that like across the chest it says authentic in all lowercase with a period at the end, and then above the eye in authentic is the spiral for the dot of the eye. That one might have some more things on it, like stuff on the sleeve, maybe something on the hood or something down on the pocket. I think those are the 4 hoodies I'm dropping. But like I said, I probably won't drop all of them. So it's just like a decision making. I might put them up on socials and let you guys kind of vote on them. We'll see like the kind of feedback I get. And then also the clock shirts, what colors and feedback I get on those, we'll see. And then the only other thing I'm working on, I have like a February drop plan, and either March or April. Those 2 shirts are, the March and April one is not, neither of them are done. The February one is very close. The March/April one, there's about 30 variations of the idea I had, and I'm just kind of going through them all and trying to figure out which is the best of the best that I want to drop. I think those are going to be long sleeves. But the only thing I might drop this winter too, which I'm going to be honest with y'all, will more than likely be pre-order only because they're expensive to make and I have to make sure that I sell them. There's a lot of things I don't have a problem sitting on stock of because, I can take the pop-ups or whatever. It'd be cool to take these to pop-ups, but because they're so expensive, it's like, is it worth it sitting on them? Is my varsity jackets. So I'm going to get a sample of that when I order the samples of hoodies. And depending on how much they are, I'll decide if I'm going to drop those or just do like do a full drop of those or a pre-order. And even if I do a full drop of those, there may only be, I'm going to say there's only going to be 10 of those. No more. Like if we blow up and when we blow up, not if, when we blow up, in the future, they can come back when they get some traction. But as of right now, there's going to be 5 to 10 of those. And even if I order stock, and even if I do a pre-order, that's all there's going to be. Like, I'm only going to allow like 5 of those, 10 of those. So I don't know if those are going to come out in December with the hoodies or not. Well, once again, we'll kind of see the interest on them, but that design, I've got some good traction on it. It's not done. The hoodies are very close. The clock shirts are done. The February one is pretty much done. And then, the March/April one is done. So I have a really good, like, I haven't had that creative edge to kind of create new things, unfortunately, like I said. But like when I do start, because I have looked at these things and worked on them a tad here and there in the last few months, like I can get creative and work on those. Like this has been like my creative thing is like pre-existing things. I can kind of, at least those things that I can kind of like get a feel for and make progress on, but like starting new designs is what I've been struggling with. Like, so anything in the vault, I can kind of work with and make variations and at least make progress. But anything new or new sayings or anything like that, it's just been going nowhere. But fortunately, I have my December drop pretty much finished / lined up. A February one is in line, and March/April, I don't know which one. I'd probably say April, because I'd probably say, like, realistically, we're actually on trajectory right now to drop about every other month. I just dropped in September. So I guess December would be 3 months, but September, October, November, December, and then we'll drop again in February, and then probably April, and then June, August again, and we'll go from there, and we'll just see how much growth we have. And if I start being able to do this full time because of the growth, then, hopefully I can drop more times every month. And maybe hopefully the goal is to drop every month, and then maybe the goal will be to drop multiple times a month. There could be a surprise drop in January. It won't be a lot. It'll be like a new year, new me thing. That could, we'll already say what like the basis of that would be. It'd be like it would probably be like my first workout drop. That could be a surprise, and it'd be very small. But that could be doable. So y'all may get like a lot of drops in a row. Y'all could get December, January, February, and then April, maybe March instead of April. So you guys are in line to possibly get 4 drops in 4 straight months. It's just a matter of me getting in samples, and a matter of which my goal is when I order these hoodie samples is to order like by the latest, order the rest of the samples by like the first of the year for the samples that are going to be out, or for the drop coming in February and then March/April. But realistically, I would like to get the samples for like my next 5 drops when I order the hoodie samples. So if that happens, if I'm able to get all the samples in, you guys will be lined up to get 4 drops in 4 months. So there's a lot coming, and I'm excited for that. Even though, like I said, creatively, I've been struggling. Those projects are in a good position to be done. So that's awesome. And I just want to thank you all again for listening. Just kind of get some things off my mind, my chest. Not a super serious episode, but some key parts in here I think that y'all can take away for tips and tricks for creativity, how how to go about getting your creativity back, and how to go about like setting up for like your creative, what's the word? Your creative process, like what my creative process is like. And it's really not, it's just simple, like I said, backtrack, just set up the time and day you want to do it, and actually work. Put your phone on DND, get it going, and take a break in between and come back to it. Before that, get your body moving, or meditate before. I would say meditate before. Go to the gym before. Get yourself some water, maybe a small meal, maybe a snack, whatever, and get going. Just start doing it. It's not that hard. The hardest part is where is the creative energy coming from? Where is that creativity coming from? So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. What the fuck? Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for watching. I think this is episode 8 of season 2, and we're doing 25 episodes each season. So I got to get caught up before we take another break. But yeah, season 2 has been going good, and I appreciate all the support I've had so far from clothing and the listening. My viewers have more than doubled, almost tripled from season 1. So that's fucking incredible. So thank you guys again for all the support. And I apologize for taking so long for a new episode. I believe this will be posting. Today's the 7th. This episode will be live on November 13th. And then I will record another one that day. So then we can get back on track. And then another episode will drop November 27th. And then, we'll be back on schedule. So then should be the 13th, 27th, then December 11th. I don't know if I'll drop one on Christmas. Christmas, that's tough. We may take 2 weeks off there for the holidays. Then I may drop one December 11th, record another one, and not drop it till January 1st. But yeah, that's about the schedule we're on. That's tips on creativity, theta brainwaves, what you should do if you want to get more creativity in your life, my creative process, and it's a good episode, chill episode. Been smoking the hookah. Sorry if it was a distraction, but this is not being a dick. This is my podcast, and this is me, being my authentic self here. I'm sitting back, hanging out, chilling, and I got the hookah rolling. I'm not upset about it. And if you guys are, I really don't give a shit. That sounds very fucked up, but that's the life you guys got to live. And I know I come on here and I don't want you guys to take that personally. That's just like, you guys want to live in your authentic self, and that's not caring about other people's opinions. So I'll apologize for it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it. If I feel like doing it that day, I'm going to do it, because that's just me. I'm enjoying myself. I'm sitting back and I'm kicking it back, and I don't care about anyone's opinion on if I should or shouldn't be doing what I should be doing. I will take creative and critical advice, and I will think on it if people have it. But if you have a shitty opinion on me, I will not listen to that, because I'm just being myself. And I'm being me for me, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I want you guys to know that that's okay for you to do the same. So thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good week, and we'll be back soon. And hopefully I will be able to show you guys some samples on one of the upcoming episodes shortly. Thanks again.
Free falling like I'm skydiving, teacher and student, 2 worlds colliding. I love music, I don't abuse it. Take your crafts and you infuse them. Say you're normal, that's kinda weird. In deep thought, stroking my beard. Head of the table, saying my cheers. Ended up grateful for all the tears. Ready to grind for years. Been loving loving what's in the mirror. Ready to grind for years. Been loving what's in